I am real thrilled this morning to introduce our two speakers. And I'll tell you, you are in store for something very, very special. I had the opportunity to meet Nick Anderson and Larry McKenzie, actually Larry 5 years ago and Nick 4 years ago. And I want to tell you, Nick Anderson is someone I have come to truly admire and respect. You will hear a story of adversity and diversity and how Nick took his challenges head on. And I'll tell you, I have learned a lot from Nick Anderson, and he is somebody so special to me. If I could be like Nick Anderson, life would be good. So Nick has an incredible story to tell, and I'm not gonna, take all the lights and the fanfare away, but Nick is now a freshman in his first year of college over at the University of St. Thomas. And from what I understand, Nick, you had a very successful first semester. And there's always a challenge when you go from high school to college, and Nick might share a little bit about some of that as well. But I also want to talk about our other keynote speaker, and he is a very special person, Larry McKenzie. And Larry is the head basketball coach at Minneapolis North High School of Arts and Communication. A coach, educator, author, and speaker, Larry McKenzie, the only coach to win 4 straight state titles in the 101-year history of the Minnesota State Boys Basketball Tournament. And Larry, if I recall, I think it was last year, you won your, how many games? What was it?
250.
250. That is an incredible mark to achieve for a basketball coach. Larry most recently finished his 5th season as head coach over at the Academy of Holy Angels and was formerly general manager and head coach of the Minnesota Ripneys of the American Basketball Association. In 9 seasons, Coach McKenzie and his staff developed the Patriots into one of the top high school programs, and this was at Minneapolis Patrick Henry High School. Larry has had some major accomplishments. He was named section and region coach of the year for 3 consecutive years, 99, 2000, and 2001. In 2001, he was also named Class AAA coach of the year and selected by the NFHSC as the Minnesota Basketball Coach of the Year. Larry has been a very dedicated and committed person to help the youth, to help basketball, to help kids achieve their dreams. And I am just honored and privileged to have Coach McKenzie here today. Please help me welcome Nick Anderson. Nick.
Hello and good morning. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Nick Anderson and I am 19 years old and a freshman at the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota. Are there any alumni or future Tommies out there? That's awesome. I grew up in Lakeville, Minnesota with my mom Shelly and little sister Savannah, who was 11. I would like to share with you a little bit about myself. I arrived into this world on May 19th, 1994. My mom is a flight attendant and was traveling back from Detroit, Michigan when she went into labor. The airplane did an emergency landing in Minneapolis with an ambulance waiting on the tarmac to transport us to Abbott Northwestern Hospital, where 45 minutes later, I was born at just 29 weeks, gestation weighing 2 pounds, 8 ounces, and 15 3/4 inches long. Immediately following the emergency C-section, I was transported via an incubator to Children's Hospital in Minneapolis, where I spent the first 22 days of my life in ICU. I went home from the hospital on July 5th, 1994. In March of 1995, at 10 months old, I was not meeting the milestones that I should have been, so I started physical therapy 2 times a week. I was diagnosed 4 months later with cerebral palsy, CP. Cerebral refers to the cerebrum, which is the affected area of the brain, and palsy refers to the disorder of movement. It impacted my gross motor skills, resulting in muscle tightness, spasms, and difficulty walking. CP is not a progressive condition, and the damage to the brain is a one-time event, so it will not get worse. The doctors believe that during the delivery, I was without oxygen, which is what caused my CP. Through my physical therapy, I started to walk when I was 3.5 years old. It was probably 2nd or 3rd grade when I noticed that I walked different than other people, but honestly, it was just a difference. Everyone is different, and I have CP. It is not something that I let bring me down or something that I really talk about. One unique thing about my friends is that to them, I am just Nick, and they look at me just like everyone else. Throughout my elementary years, my mom would always go to the class and explain why I am different. It is nothing that my family or friends have labeled. Although I have to sometimes work harder or different than others to accomplish what needs to be done, I just find my way to do it. I am not afraid to tell people I have CP. It is who I am, and I expect people to accept me for that. I've had 2 major surgeries, each 8 hours in length. These surgeries were performed at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, by a specialist in orthopedic pediatric surgery. The first surgery was when I was 9 years old. In that surgery, they derotated my hip, lengthened my calf muscles, and completed a muscle transfer. The second surgery was when I was 13 years old. In that surgery, they rebuilt my left foot, lengthened both my hamstrings, and completed a ligament transfer from my groin to my thigh. The recovery from these surgeries was intense. I was immobile for 6 weeks. The rehab was tough. The pain at times was crazy, but I got through it. The second surgery impacted me more, I think, because I was older. I missed 6 weeks of school, social activities, and friends. I wear mobilizers on my legs every night when I sleep to help keep my hamstrings loose. I also wear an ankle foot orthotic AFO brace on my left foot to help support me when I walk. One of the most difficult things for me to accept was when I found out that I would never walk totally normal and I would not be able to play and participate in all sports because of my physical disability. However, through determination, hard work, and people believing in me, I was able to prove this wrong. I have had the privilege in high school to manage the varsity boys basketball team at the Academy of Holy Angels. My junior and senior year, I was named one of the team captains. As you just saw on senior night, I had the opportunity to start and play in a game. This was truly a dream come true. Scoring the first bucket was amazing. However, having the chance to get back in the game and let the three fly was something I do not have words to describe. I have a passion for sports and feel so honored to be a part of a team led by such a great coach in Larry McKenzie. He not only prepares his teams for the game of basketball, but also the game of life. He teaches discipline, not only to how to be the better basketball team, but how to be the best you can be in life. This year I am managing the junior varsity team at St. Thomas. When not at basketball or studying, which is a lot in college, I like to hang out with my friends, play golf, ping pong, and just about anything else sports related. I like to watch all sporting events either in person or on TV. I ultimately want to get a job with a professional sports team and someday be a basketball coach. I also want to help others with CP and other physical disabilities know that they too can achieve great things, and always to encourage them to be the best that they can be and to never give up. Another goal I have is to create a basketball league for people with physical disabilities. People with CP are just that, people. Sometimes people look at the disability instead of looking at the true person they really are. Everyone is different, so my best advice to you is to get to know them and support them to achieve great things. Although I have encountered many physical challenges throughout my life, I've continued to be thankful for the many gifts I have. Thank you for your time. I encourage each of you to think about how you can make a difference and help make your dreams and others come true. I would like to leave you with my favorite quote that was first coined by St. Jerome and then reiterated by Tim Duncan. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Thank you.
Good morning. I like to move around a little bit. Every time I watch that video, I get so emotional. First of all, let me just say it's a privilege and an honor to come and share with you all this morning. And as I thought about, how many of you all was here last year? All right, so I'm gonna talk, talk a bit about some of the similar things. But as I thought about what I would share with the audience this morning, I can't tell you how many times, me and Nick talk on occasion, and we still share basketball stuff and talk about how school is going and all of those kinds of things. And obviously, you heard my resume. And I've been really fortunate in my career, in my life. I've been blessed and all of those kinds of things. And so one of the things I always like to do, I study about being the best and what separates winners and losers and champions and all of those kinds of things. And as I thought about today, what I want to say to you is, you watched the video, you just heard Nick's speech, and I mean, actually we could probably end there. But I just want to reflect on Nick Anderson this morning, if I can. I am the only coach in the 101-year history to ever win 4 consecutive state titles. I'm close to, getting fairly close to winning 300 games in my 15-year career as a high school basketball coach. I have helped, at this stage, I've got 19 Division I kids, and 100% of all of my kids have graduated from high school on time, and 100% has enrolled in college at either a 2-year or 4-year college. And that's one of the things that I'm really, really proud of. But I thought about, and I used to say this to Nick all the time, what did I learn from Nick Anderson? What did I learn from Nick Anderson? My 5 years at Holy Angels and my 4 years of being there with Nick around, never won a state title. We were fortunate last year to win a conference title. But Nick taught me how to be a winner. Nick taught me what winning was all about. And it has nothing to do with the games or the rings or the banners or all of those things. And I thought about what are those lessons? What would be some of the key things that I can say that over 4 years as I watched Nick, and I always told him, Nick would say, Coach, thank you, and all of those kind of things, but I always used to try to tell him, I learned so much more from you than I could ever have taught you. And he probably didn't understand that, but over the last year, over the last few months, I've had an opportunity to really reflect. And so one of the things that I would say, the first thing, someone said, blessed is the person that sees a need, recognizes responsibility, and actively pursues becoming the answer. As I listen to Nick and his ambition and the things that he want to do and his plans in terms of the impact that he want to have, one of the things that I recognize about winning, and that I can say from Nick, is that winners are different. Winners are different. And that's the reason why everybody can't win. Being successful is different, and that's why not everybody is successful. And so one of the key things that I think is you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision. As we talk to you young leaders, you have to. And then what is a vision? Part of what I can say, that as you saw the video and you listen to Nick never learned how to see things as they are. He saw things as they should be. He was told at an early age that he would never play the game, he wouldn't be able to walk. So many obstacles. But he had a different outlook on life. He didn't see things as they were. He saw things as they could be. And that's a separator. And then I would say the thing about that I learned about being a winner is that regardless of your own personal circumstances, winners seem to find a way to care. To care. The good book says that he who is first shall be last. Servant. Guy with a burning desire in his heart to get out on that hardwood all of his life, just waiting for an opportunity to score a basket. But in the meantime, for 4 years, never missed a practice, every consecutive night. he served those guys as a manager. He was a servant. He cared. And even as you listen to him now, I mean, it's not the end of the road. Winning a league, he's still doing it. Winners care. They understand that it's not about them, that it's much, much bigger than them. And that's what good leaders do. And then the key ingredients. One of the key things, attitude. 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 See, it's so easy. And this is what separates winners and losers. You give me a glass. Here, let me just borrow this, your glass here, sir, real quick. See, some people, if I was asked to tell me about this glass, some people would say, Coach, well, the glass that you hold in is half empty. But see, winners understand that it's half full. There's a difference about how you look at things. And it's all about attitudes. And so one of the things that I do know that Nick understands is attitude. I give it to all of my players. And one of the things that I do, I understand that, I've come to understand that life is not about taking chances, that it's about making the right choices. And for all of us, it starts with our attitude. And so one of the things that I've given to Nick and all of my guys, and the thing that I do every morning, that I walk out of the house, and the thing that I tell about, that I've learned about all winners and champions is that everybody, they have some kind of mantra, something that they believe in, that they start off, that they repeat every day. I'm a winner, I'm this. But they look in the mirror, and for me, it's my creed. It's my creed. And I'll share with you this morning. It goes like this. This is the beginning of a new day. I have been blessed with this day to use as I will. I can waste it or use it for good. For what I do today is important. I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. I must decide, good or bad, gain or loss, success or failure, in order that I will never regret the price that I paid for it. Attitude, so important. So every morning when I walk out of the door, but I shared with the audience last year, I have this strange habit when I get up in the morning. And I know that I'm one of the last few people in Minnesota keeping the Star Tribune alive, because I still buy actual paper. But every morning before I walk out of the door, I go to this section. It's the obituary column. And it reminds me that there were some people here yesterday that are not here today. And that today is truly a blessing. And we take it for granted. Today is, somebody help me out. Today is, well, Grandma, we know what today is. Happy birthday again. Today is February what? 7. What year? Has this day ever been? Will this day ever be? We don't get a do-over. February 7, 2014. We get one opportunity to make the best out of every day. It's a gift. And I used to think a long time ago, and I know some of you all in this room, you get up and you're 16 and 17 and 15, and you put things off. You know, I'll do my homework tomorrow. I'll make this phone call tomorrow. I'll fill out that college application tomorrow. You put things off because you think you got all the time in the world. And when I was your age, I thought that you only buried old people. But I got news for you. I got news for you. Last year, July 2013, I buried 2 of my former players, 21 and 22 years old. Got a call that I want nobody to ever have to experience. But see, they thought they had all the time in the world. But I want you young people to understand that every day is indeed a blessing. So when I get up in the morning, I know that this is a new day. Whatever I don't get done on February 7, 2014, I don't get to do it over. There's no do-over. That I have been blessed with this day to use as I will. See, me and Nick understand something that maybe you don't. That there's no one else that controls our happiness. That there's no one else that can determine our success. That every day we have an opportunity. We have to make a decision. We can make choices or we can take chances. And my choice is, when I walk out of the door, I understand that I must decide every morning whether my day is good or bad, whether or not it's gain or loss, success or failure, that there's no one else's responsibility but mine. We don't get a do-over. I like the way that one of my favorite coaches says it. Let me just take a quick survey here. How many of you all, if I gave you the opportunity for the rest of your life, every morning, 12 a.m., deposit $86,400 into your bank account? Who all will be in? Who all will join that club? $86,400 every morning. Ray, I don't like alligator arms. Raise your, let's get them up high. All right, put your hands down. So we got 100%. Everybody here. If we gave you an opportunity every morning, deposit $86,400 into your bank account, everybody would accept. Well, John Wooden says it this way. He says, but we got a condition. The condition is one condition. What you don't use, you lose. So $86,400 into your bank account, but what you don't spend by 11:59 p.m., you lose. Who's still in? Everybody. Good. Newsflash. 12 a.m., February 7th, 2014. The good man above deposited into our life account 86,400 seconds. What you ask for, we get every day. Every day at the strike of midnight, 12 a.m., each one of us, nobody here gets $86,399. Nobody gets $86,350. Everybody here, equal opportunity, 86,400 seconds. But it comes with a condition. What you don't use, you lose. What you don't get done on February 7, 2014, you don't get a do-over. Most of us, unfortunately, go through the course of our day and we don't take advantage of that deposit. We don't take advantage of that deposit. Every day. Every day. One of the things that I understand about young people, you don't understand the importance of setting goals. Every day you should walk out of the door with something, just one thing that you want to get done. Because at the end of the night, you should be able to cross that off your list because you don't get a do-over. That homework that you put off, that college application that you put off, that phone call to somebody to say thank you or that I love you, we don't get to do that over. And somebody here yesterday, they had that intent. They had that intent. They were going to call their mother. They were going to call their father. They was going to do something, but it didn't happen. Take advantage of every day. Take advantage of every day. The other thing that I understand about being a winner, that I can say as I watch Nick, that I learned. See, winners learn how early not to let other people define them. They learn quickly that you somehow got to dance to the beat of a different drum. The music is different that they hear. See, Nick had every excuse in the world. And I'll just tell my stories. I stand here, I say this to young people all the time, personally. And I don't share this a lot. But I always say I'm not even supposed to be here. I shouldn't even be here this morning talking to you all. My story is my grandparents came to this country on a banana boat from the Bahamas. Couldn't afford a cruise. Couldn't get a ticket. My dad was first generation American. They came here chasing the American dream. My grandmother was a maid. Got up every morning to go from Miami to Miami Beach to clean up somebody's house. My grandfather was a garbage man. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm the product of a teen mom. My mom had me when she was 19 years old. Both of my parents dropped out of college. But somehow they didn't give up. Grew up in one of the worst projects in Miami, Florida. I'm not supposed to be here. Not supposed to be here. But the difference is, like I was telling you, I didn't let those circumstances, I didn't let that situation define me. See, like some of you all, as you go through your challenges, Nick was told that he'd never walk, that he was different, and that was an excuse. I was told that I wasn't the right color, that I was poor, that we had all kinds of opportunities to throw in the towel and give up. But we didn't let other people define us. And one of the things that I think that often stands in our way, one of my favorite quotes, for most of us, the reason that we don't ever get to stand on that stage, to get the gold medal, to win, to walk across that stage to accomplish our goals is because our greatest fear is that we are inadequate. It is the light, not the darkness, that frightens us. Many of us never get there because we can't overcome the fear of failure. I like to tell a story as I begin to wrap up a little bit about a young lady that I met in 2006. I had an opportunity to travel to South Africa and spend some time in Johannesburg and Botswana and Zimbabwe. And I met a young lady out in, when you go into Africa, there's always the city, but then there's the people that live out in the bush. And in the bush, there's no running water, and it doesn't even look nothing like the 21st century. And I ran into a young lady who, about 2 weeks before her 18th birthday, and she was telling me a story. The story goes like this. About 2 weeks before her 18th birthday, she was really, really struggling because, like me, many people from America had come to her village, and she kept hearing this story about this far-off place, this land of opportunity. And they would just say that, there's this place called America where really that if you can dream it and you believe it, you could achieve it. And she had heard all of these stories, but her dilemma was about 2 weeks before her 18th birthday, she had to make a really, really tough decision. She had to decide whether or not she was going to take on the traditions of her mother and her grandmother. And the traditions in that village was that she would marry someone that had been chosen by her family that she didn't know, and that she would go on to cook and clean and do all of those kinds of things. And she was really, really struggling because she was trying to decide whether or not I want to be like my grandmother and my mother, or I want to chase my dream. I want to do something different and go to this place that they call America, where I keep hearing that they say that if you can dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. And so she didn't know what to do. And so in the village, she went to seek out one of the elders, one of the folks with the gray beards like me. And she asked, she went to the elder and she said to this elder, she said, in about 2 weeks, I've got to make a really, really tough decision. On my 18th birthday, I got to decide whether or not I'm going to take on the traditions of my mother and my grandmother. And I'm going to marry this guy that they've chosen for me, and I'm going to cook and clean, and I'm going to do all of these traditional things, or I'm going to do something different. And over the years, as I've grown up, these people that keep coming from America, they keep telling me about this place where they say that if you can dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. And I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And I've got to really make this tough decision. And I need some help. And the elders told her, she said, well, you know what? Let me just say that at some point in all of our lives, we all have that challenge. And it's simple. It's a simple thing that's going on with you. She says, well, what you have inside of you is a battle between two dogs at war. And the young lady not wanting to seem like she wasn't smart and she didn't get it, she just kind of walked away. And she went home and she kind of marinated on it for a few days, thought about it, but the feeling never went away. It never went away. And she couldn't sleep at night. And she couldn't concentrate in the day. And she just didn't know what to do. So after about 2 days, 48 hours before her 18th birthday, she went back to the elder and she said, I need some help. When I was here the other day, we had this conversation and you were telling me this thing about two dogs at war, and I didn't want to seem like I didn't understand what you were saying, but I'm struggling. I need to make this decision. In about 48 hours, I got to decide whether or not I'm going to take on the traditions of my mother and my grandmother. And I'm going to marry some guy that they picked out for me and cook and clean or do something different. And I know some of us struggles with the traditions of our village. Or I'm going to go to this far place where they call America, where they say that you can dream it. If you can dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. And you mentioned to me when I was here the other day, you said something about two dogs at war. I don't get it. I didn't understand it. I need some help. And she said, well, what happens at some point in all of our lives, we get to a place where we all feel that feeling. And what happens, there's a battle that's going on in the inside. And when I was telling you about the two dogs of war, she said, what you have is that fight right now. She said, well, explain it to me. She said, well, the fight is between the dog of courage and the dog of fear. The dog of courage and the dog of fear. And the young lady just looked at her. She kind of inquisitive and still wasn't getting it. And she said, okay, I understand that the battle, dog of war and the dog of fear. But in 48 hours, I got to make a decision. And I got to decide whether I'm going to follow these traditions of my mother and my grandmother, or I'm going to go to this place called America where they said if you can dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. And what I really need to know is which one wins. How do you pronounce your name? Tasneem. Which one wins? Say it loud. What's your name, young lady? Savannah. Which one wins? Mr. Olson. Which one wins? Mr. Olson. Which one wins? Correct. Well, the answer is the one that wins is the one that you feed the most. The one that wins is the one that you feed the most. Unfortunately, most of us feed that dog of fear. I want to close by simply saying this. I was watching the Super Bowl the other day. And at the end of the Super Bowl, I listened to the interview by young Mr. Russell Wilson, the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. And he said when he was growing up, he was 5'11", and everybody told him he was too short to play quarterback, and he never played in the NFL. But his father always would challenge him with 3 words. Why not you? Why not you? My challenge to you young people this morning, leaders, why not you? Somebody going to be valedictorian at your school. Why not you? Somebody going to graduate with a 4.0. Why not? Help me out. Why not? You. Somebody has the ability to be a future governor. Why not? You. Come on, y'all got to give me better than that. Come on now, that's weak. Somebody here possibly has a cure for cancer. Why not?
You.
Somebody here have an opportunity to become a great coach and change lives. Why not?
You.
There's somebody here, future business leader, Bloomington. Why not?
You.
And I thought about that. That's so real. That's so real. You know, my grandmother, 103 years old, she said there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. Things are going to happen. Somebody's going to be the next Bill Gates. Why not you? Somebody has an idea like Steve Zuckerberg. Why not you? Somebody is going to go to the college of their first choice. Why not you? Again, just want to close by saying, life is about choices, not chances. Too many of us allow other people and other things and excuses to determine where we go and how we're going to get there. Remember, every day, it's equal opportunity. Each one of us, 86,400 seconds. And ultimately, it's not up to anybody else, it's not up to your teachers, it's not up to your parents. Ultimately, you have to decide, good or bad, gain or loss, success or failure, in order that you would never regret the price that you paid for it. Everybody here could be doing something different. Everybody here this morning could be doing something different. But there's a price. You've invested your time. Today, this leadership workshop, why not get everything that you can get and leave here being the best that you can be? Because we're counting on it. We're counting on it. And I close simply by saying, why not?
You.
Thank you.